Hey, hey you, come here for a sec. Sit. Let me talk to you real quick. Yeah, you. The one who thinks you're walking through life solo like nobody gives a damn whether you sink or swim. You got that look, the one people get when they've been carrying everything alone for way too long. You know the vibe, shoulders tight, eyes tired, heart feeling like it's doing overtime without pay. Yeah, I know that look. I've worn that look. But let me tell you something that'll flip your whole damn worldview sideways. You think nobody cares? You really think no one's paying attention? You honestly believe you've been moving through fire without a single soul noticing the burn marks? Nah. Not even close. See, you've been operating under this illusion that because people aren't loud about loving you, they don't. Because they're not texting paragraphs or applauding your every little victory. They're not in your corner. But here's the thing you forgot. Real loyalty doesn't need a microphone. Real protection doesn't need a spotlight. Some of the most dangerous, powerful, and loyal people in your orbit. They don't post. They don't brag. They don't announce. They move in shadows, clean, efficient, surgical. And while you've been stressing over who likes you, who supports you, who checks on you, someone else has been doing something way more important on your behalf, ending threats before they even get close to you. Let that sink in for a second. Yeah. Let it hit your chest because you felt it, haven't you? Those moments where things could have gone extremely left, but somehow, some way, something, or someone stepped in before the blow landed. That weird feeling like the universe pulled a "not this one, not today" around you. You ever noticed how certain people who meant you harm just vanish from your life? Go quiet. Lose access, get exposed, get blocked by the universe before they ever get to cross your line. That ain't luck. That ain't coincidence. That's protection you weren't even aware you had. Because the truth is, you're not walking alone. You're walking guarded. You're not unsupported. You're shielded. And honestly, it scares people. It confuses people. Because they swear you're defenseless until they try something. And then, something shuts it down before they can even drag breath into their lungs. Someone out there has your name circled in red for the right reasons. Someone out there decided you're worth defending quietly. Someone out there said, touch them and watch how fast your world flips. And yeah, maybe you don't know who it is. Maybe you'll never know. But you don't need to. You just need to understand the truth. Your life hasn't been lucky. It's been protected. Protected from the kind of threats you never even heard about. Protected from jealous people who whispered your name with the wrong tone. Protected from snakes that slid too close. Protected from people pretending to be friends while scouting for weakness. You were never unprotected. You were just unaware. And honestly, that's how real protection works. Silent, invisible, consistent. You walk into rooms thinking nobody's watching you, but, oh, they are. And not the haters, not the doubters, not the people waiting for you to fail. I'm talking about the ones who keep your name in rooms you've never stepped foot in. The ones who say, don't touch them, don't try them, don't play with them. The ones who shut conversations down when your name comes up. The ones who end threats the moment they start forming. It's wild, right? How you thought you were alone. And all this time, you had a silent force field around you. You're the type of person people would go to war for without you ever knowing a battle even happened. You're the type of person others shield instinctively. Not because you're weak, but because your purpose is too damn valuable for cheap chaos to touch. Whether you're aware of it or not, your presence shakes rooms. Your energy makes insecure people sweat. Your growth threatens small minds. Your name carries weight, even when you feel invisible. And yeah, sure, you've cried alone. You've fought alone. You've healed alone. But you've never been targeted alone. Never been watched alone. Never been protected alone. Someone has been stepping in for you quietly. Someone has been making sure things don't get as bad as they could. Someone has been pulling strings behind the scenes because you're not meant to fall the way you fear you will. You're not alone. You never were. And the crazy part? You're only just waking up to how powerful that makes you. And you're sitting there, still trying to figure out why you've survived storms that should have wiped you out. Why you've walked through hell with burns that healed faster than they should have. Why every attempt to break you somehow backfired on the people who initiated it. And that's not random. That's not life being life. That's somebody putting their foot down for you behind curtains you've never seen pulled back. You keep asking yourself, why me? Why does it feel like every time I'm about to collapse, something shifts? And you don't realize you've got protection that doesn't announce itself. It just reacts, instantly, aggressively, unapologetically, before you even know there was a threat forming in the first place. People have written your name in their little secret group chats, thinking they're safe, thinking you're clueless, thinking nobody's watching on your behalf. But every time someone tries to move funny with you, it's like life sends this invisible enforcement squad that shuts their whole plan down before it even gets momentum. And that's what keeps you wondering why they look uncomfortable around you without you doing anything. They know, they can feel it. They feel that energy around you, that thing that makes petty people hesitate, that thing that makes manipulators stutter, that thing that makes the wrong ones back up without understanding why their chest tightens when they try to step toward you with bad intentions. You walk into a room thinking you're just existing. Meanwhile, there's a whole unseen ripple effect that follows you. A pressure in the air that warns the room, don't misread this one. Don't misjudge this one. Don't underestimate this one. And half the time, you think people are being weird, but really they're reacting to something orbiting you that they can't describe. And, it's crazy how you keep assuming you're moving unguarded, when the truth is you've been spiritually, emotionally, psychologically escorted for years without knowing the route was being cleared for you ahead of time. You ever notice how some people start plotting against you, and out of nowhere their own life starts glitching, like they tried to throw a brick at you, but their own ceiling collapsed first? People swear that's karma, but nah, that's interference. That's someone saying, don't touch what you don't understand. That's someone protecting your trajectory because they see what you're becoming, even if you don't fully see it yet. And the wildest part is you keep feeling abandoned. You keep assuming you're overlooked. You keep thinking you're unsupported because the people protecting you aren't loud about it. They don't text you. They don't check in. They don't announce that they shut down 3 threats last week. Without you hearing a whisper about it, they just do it, quietly, consistently, without flexing what they've shielded you from. Your life has been calmer than your enemies expected. Your life has been safer than your heartbreak predicted. Your life has been steadier than the chaos around you suggested. And that's because somebody behind the scenes said your purpose is too important to leave vulnerable to small-minded sabotage, like a Imagine thinking you're unprotected when every danger sent your way has been intercepted long before it reached your doorstep. People don't understand why messing with you leaves them drained, why trying to sabotage you makes their own plans unravel, why talking about you negatively makes weird things start happening in their life. And you're out here thinking you're powerless, while the universe runs a silent defense system every time someone's intentions turn sour toward you. There's a reason certain people fear you, without you ever raising your voice. There's a reason people get uneasy when they lie to you. There's a reason users disappear after they try to take advantage of you. There's a reason manipulators fail mid-plan. There's a reason insecure people can't maintain eye contact with you. There's a reason fakes keep exposing themselves without you lifting a finger. You're not intimidating because you try to be. You're intimidating because you're guarded by forces you can't see, but everyone else can feel. You're the type of person people think they can play with, until something invisible taps them on the shoulder and asks, "You sure about that?" And suddenly they're not so bold anymore. Suddenly they're backing up. Suddenly they're questioning their own motives, like the room got colder, like something shifted around you and said, "Not them, not today." And you've been wondering why you survive things that break people with louder support systems, why you bounce back from betrayals that should have shattered you, why you walk away from situations that were designed to trap you. And it's because someone out there has been undoing the damage before it sticks, blocking the hit before it lands, ending the threat before it reaches you. You're not alone. You were never moving alone. You've been protected, monitored, covered, shielded, backed, enforced, all without any applause or acknowledgement. And it hits different when you finally realize it, when it clicks in your chest that you weren't abandoned. You were just watching the wrong signs, misunderstanding silence for absence, misreading quiet protection as loneliness, not knowing someone's been fighting for your future while you were busy fighting for your sanity. And once you understand that, once you really feel that truth in your bones, something in you shifts, something in you unlocks, something in you finally breathes again, because you start to understand how powerful you really are when even your battles get intercepted before they ever reach your hands. Because once that hits you, once that reality settles under your skin, you start replaying moments in your head, moments you didn't understand at the time. And it's like watching the whole movie again with director's commentary. You finally see the hands that were moving things around you without needing credit for it. You remember that time you were hanging around someone who didn't feel right, and you couldn't explain it, but something pushed you to leave early, almost like your chest tightened in a way you couldn't ignore. Yeah, that wasn't anxiety. That was protection kicking in before something went sideways. And, you didn't recognize it because you've been conditioned to think protection only counts when it's loud. Or those people who suddenly switched up on you without warning, disappeared out of your life like their access expired. You thought it was rejection. You thought it meant you weren't worth staying for. But honestly, it was removal. It was interception. It was that unseen force dragging them off your path before they had the chance to get close enough to cause damage they weren't built to handle responsibly. You tell yourself nobody cares because you don't hear cheering. But in reality, you've got invisible hands cleaning your path before you even take your next step. You've got unspoken support, rerouting the worst outcomes without you even knowing the danger was behind the curtain. And, it's wild how blind you were to that, simply because the support was silent instead of flashy. Every threat you never heard about, every conversation that died before it reached your ears, every betrayal that never fully formed, every plan against you that cracked mid-creation, every rumor that never spread because someone shut it down early, every opportunist that got exposed before they got close. You walk like nothing happened. Meanwhile, your protection squad, whatever form it takes, has been mopping up chaos before it even touches your shoes, leaving you thinking you're struggling alone when you're actually being covered in ways that would shake you if you saw the details. And, you don't realize how many times you were minutes away from breaking, minutes away from a major setback, minutes away from getting dragged into someone else's drama, minutes away from repeating a cycle that would have destroyed you, and then, out of nowhere, something changed, something shifted, something diverted the blow like life whispered, "Not them, not this time. Redirect it elsewhere." You think you survived because you're tough. You think you healed because you're resilient. You think you escaped because you're smart, and yeah, you are all those things. But you also need to understand how much was handled on your behalf, without you having to lift a single finger. How many punches were blocked before they reached your face? How many doors were locked before the wrong people got inside your life? People look at you and assume you're just lucky, but they have no clue how many dangers were shut down in silence, how many enemies were disarmed quietly, how many intentions toward you went cold before they could heat up enough to cause a mess. You're protected in ways you can't logically explain, in ways that don't show up on camera, in ways that don't come with evidence or receipts. And that's why you keep misunderstanding it as loneliness instead of realizing that silence is where the real protection operates best. And once you catch on to that, once you start noticing the pattern, you start noticing how quickly the wrong people exit your life, how fast fake energy exposes itself, how smoothly certain crises resolve themselves before you even have time to panic about them. And it hits you that there's something bigger than your fears running interference for you. It's like you've got this invisible perimeter around you, and threats can walk toward it, talk about you, plan around you. But the moment they try to cross the line, something in their life malfunctions. Friendships fall apart, opportunities collapse, their confidence glitches, their motives unravel, and they back off without even knowing why. Just this instinctual, don't mess with that one reaction that comes out of nowhere. Ugh. It's intense when you finally recognize the pattern. It's overwhelming when you finally see the truth. It's almost scary when you realize how covered you've been without noticing it. And it changes you. Not in an arrogant way, not in a delusional way, but in that real, grounded, I'm not as alone as I thought I was kind of way that shifts how you breathe, how you stand, how you step into rooms, how you hold yourself when pressure hits. Because you start moving like someone who's backed by forces bigger than the wounds they carry. And, once you feel that, once you wrap your head around the fact that you've never really fought alone, even when it felt like everyone vanished on you, something in you sharpens, something in you strengthens, something in you steps forward with a whole different energy, because you finally understand that every threat that tried to reach you already failed before it even got the chance to introduce itself. And the moment that hits you, the moment you finally start connecting dots you didn't even know were on the page, you catch yourself thinking about all those nights you felt exposed, All those days you swore you were walking through life without backup, and it kind of messes with your head because you realize you weren't unprotected, you were just unaware. You start remembering situations where you should have been overwhelmed, where everything around you was falling apart, where anybody else would have crashed into the ground, and yet something, you don't even know what, pushed you through it, nudged you past the danger, rerouted the impact. Like life had this gentle but deadly hand on your shoulder, guiding you away from what was meant to break you. And, it's wild because you spent so long thinking you had to be hyper-independent just to survive, holding everything together by yourself, pushing through pain in silence, staying quiet when everything inside you was screaming for a break. And you didn't realize half the weight you thought you carried alone had already been lifted before it reached you. There were people who planned to use you but never got the chance. People who planned to lie to you but couldn't follow through. People who tried to drag you into messes but got stuck in their own drama first. People who looked at you like an opportunity until something made them back away. Like they were staring at a warning sign they couldn't read but still respected. And that's not coincidence. That's not randomness. That's not things working out. That's protection working overtime in silence. That's the kind of energy that follows someone with a purpose. Bigger than their pain, bigger than their insecurities, bigger than the chaos they grew up in, or the trauma they're healing from. You've got this strange gravity around you, this energy field that exposes the wrong people before they can get close enough to do real damage. Like they trip over their own intentions right before they reach your orbit, and you're left confused while they're left spiraling. And you thought that meant you were cursed. You thought that meant you were hard to love. You thought that meant you pushed people away. But it was never rejection. It was prevention. It was protection disguised as isolation. And when you finally take that in, when you sit with the idea that maybe, just maybe, you weren't being abandoned but shielded, it hits different. Like you suddenly exhale years of misunderstanding, years of thinking you were the problem, years of thinking nobody cared enough to guard your heart, your path, your future. When in reality, someone has been stepping in consistently, almost aggressively, whenever something threatens your trajectory. And that's why certain things that destroy other people never quite land on you. That's why certain conflicts break around you instead of through you. That's why certain people can't maintain their mask in your presence. That's why certain betrayals are revealed early instead of dragging on. That's why some relationships fall apart before they have the chance to drain you completely. That's why some opportunities collapse before they attach you to the wrong people. You think everything is falling apart, when in reality, everything harmful is being removed before it sticks to you. And the wildest part is how many times you got angry at life for taking people away, without realizing those same people were about to drag you into messes you weren't built for, drain you dry, or slow down everything you're becoming. You weren't being punished, you were being preserved, and you didn't even know it. And when you finally recognize how many bullets missed you, how many disasters got paused, how many lies unraveled before they reached your ears, how many threats got intercepted early, something shifts inside you. You start walking differently, breathing differently, trusting differently, processing differently. Ladies, gentlemen, and you, the one who finally stopped pretending. Yeah, I'm talking to you. The one sitting there trying to act chill while your whole chest is still vibrating from the mess you just stirred up. Dog, you really went there. And the funniest part? They ain't have the balls to respond. Not even a whisper, not even a fake cough, nothing. Just silence, thick enough to choke on. You walked into that room, with that energy you sometimes forget you have. That I'm done playing nice with people who weaponize silence energy. And you said the one thing everybody else tiptoed around. You cracked open the truth like it was nothing, like you weren't risking relationships, reputations, or the whole social hierarchy they built to keep you quiet. And they stared at you like you committed a crime against the script they all agreed to follow. But you didn't flinch. You didn't blink. You didn't apologize. Because deep down, you knew exactly what you were doing. You're done being the person who swallows their own voice just to keep other people comfortable. You're done being the emotional shock absorber for people who claim they didn't know, while knowing damn well what they were doing. You're done being the one who thinks before they speak, while the whole room speaks before they think. And the wild part? They thought they could punk you forever. They really believed you were going to sit there nodding like some NPC background character while they played hero in their own story. They weren't expecting you to stand up, get real, and say that thing. That exact thing. The thing their conscience has been screaming at them for years, but they pretend they don't hear. And the moment you said it, you watched their souls glitch. Their eyes went wide, their posture collapsed, their breath caught like they just got hit with a spiritual subpoena. That's what happens when somebody finally calls out what the whole room is running from. That's what happens when you stop protecting the people who never protected you. That's what happens when you quit being scared of being too honest and start being terrified of being fake. You felt the shift, didn't you? That energy flip, that tiny crack in the social atmosphere, the way they suddenly didn't know how to sit, how to look at you, how to pretend everything was normal, because it wasn't. You broke the illusion. You didn't just expose them. You exposed the way they hide, their excuses, their little defense mechanisms, their rehearsed reactions, their fragile egos they disguise with sarcasm and performance confidence. You didn't even raise your voice. You just told the truth they hoped you'd die with. And the funniest, most animus morphosis-coded part of all of it, nobody said a damn thing back. Why? Because it's easy to talk ST when you assume the other person won't clap back. It's easy to act brave in a room full of cowards. It's easy to play victim when nobody challenges your version of events. But the moment you open your mouth, the moment you call out their hypocrisy point blank, they fold like wet cardboard. You watched their pride spill on the floor. You watched their fake confidence melt. You watched the entire room pick a side without saying a word. And guess what? They picked fear. Fear of you. Fear of confrontation. Fear of what else you might say if they try you again. You didn't just go there. You went places they don't even have the internal courage to visit alone in their own mind. You touched wounds they've been covering with convenience. You shattered the mask they spent years perfecting. You know what's really crazy? Half those people weren't even mad at what you said. They were mad that they didn't have the guts to say it first. Because deep down, they felt it too. Deep down, they knew you were right. Deep down, they knew they'd been avoiding that exact conversation because once it's said out loud, you can't unhear it. And you, with your tired heart, your unfiltered honesty, your fed-up patience, you were the only one who reached a point where staying quiet felt more dangerous than speaking up. That's power. That's real, unmanufactured, unpolished, raw nerve power. You're not messy. You're not doing too much. You're not starting drama. You're doing something they can't stomach. You're telling the truth without begging for permission. You don't need their validation. You don't need their applause. You don't need them to agree. Because when you spoke, they flinched. When you called it out, they panicked. When you exposed the dynamic, their entire blueprint fell apart. You ever notice how people who live on lies get exhausted when someone honest walks in the room? How their whole vibe deflates? How they suddenly get quiet, avoid eye contact, start fidgeting, start over-explaining? Yeah, that's what you did. You destabilized the entire ecosystem they built to protect their egos. You didn't just say something bold. You freed yourself from the version of you they could control. And, the world felt it. Every single person in that space felt that shift. The air got heavier. The truth hung between all of you like a giant neon sign nobody wanted to acknowledge. And you just stood there, calm, breathing normally, because your soul finally did what it's been begging you to do for years: stop shrinking. They ain't respond because responding requires self-reflection, and self-reflection requires courage, and courage requires a level of inner honesty they haven't even unlocked. They're still running from themselves while you've already dissected your past, faced your trauma, unpacked your mistakes, confronted your demons, and came out with receipts and clarity. You're not too much. You're exactly the right amount. They're just too little. And the silence they gave you, that wasn't disrespect. That was fear. Fear of you. Fear of truth. Fear of the fact that the next time you open your mouth, you might say even more. You didn't just speak. You shifted the entire hierarchy. You changed the vibe. You cracked the narrative. You exposed the weakness in people who pretend they're strong. And you did it with one line, one moment, one truth, bomb they never saw coming. And they'll think about it all day, all week, maybe all year, because once someone like you stops holding back, nobody around you gets to hide anymore, and you could literally feel it. That weird little pulse running through the room right after you said it, like everybody's spirit dropped 3 floors underground. And you're standing there thinking, wait, that's it? No comeback, no slick little jab, no fake confidence. Just blank faces and tight throats, because you touched a nerve they've been guarding with their entire personality. And the wildest part is that you weren't even trying to violate anybody. You were just tired of the nonsense. You were tired of walking on emotional eggshells while everybody else stomped around like they owned the place. You were tired of being the bigger person in situations that required actual honesty, not silence disguised as maturity. You finally said something real, and because it came from you, it hit different. You know that feeling you get after you finally speak up, like your chest decompresses a little? You felt that, and they felt the opposite. Their chest tightened, their ego clenched, their whole facade trembled a tiny bit, because truth doesn't hit like an insult. It hits like a mirror, and nobody in that room was ready to see themselves without the filter. And, the way they stared at you afterward, that wasn't confusion, that was calculation. They were trying to figure out how long you've been noticing the things they pretend aren't happening. They were wondering if you've got more to say. They were terrified that if they breathe wrong, you'll expose another part of the performance they've been acting out for way too long. You can always tell when someone's guilty by the way they avoid eye contact. You saw it, right? The way they suddenly looked at the floor, or at their phone, or at somebody's shoulder because looking you in the eyes would have cracked their entire identity. You didn't even raise your voice, but your presence alone turned the whole atmosphere into a courtroom that they weren't prepared to be on trial for. And the funniest thing, is that half of them wanted to say, "You're wrong," but they couldn't. Not because your words were too aggressive, but because they were too accurate, too specific. Too close to the truth, they've been ducking behind fake smiles and overplayed confidence. You know how powerful that makes you. Being the person who speaks with clarity in a world that runs on denial. Being the one who confronts reality while others build personalities around avoiding it. Being the one who's actually willing to check the vibe of a room instead of pretending everything's fine. And when you walked away, because you did, you had to. You could feel every single pair of eyes burning into your back, not in anger, but in shock. In respect they'll never admit. In fear of what else you might be capable of saying. Because the truth is, you didn't just call out a situation. You exposed a pattern, a system, a dynamic, a whole ecosystem of fake peacekeeping that's been rotting for years underneath the polite small talk. People get loud when they think you're weak. People get quiet when they realize you're not. You felt the shift in your own body too, didn't you? Like something unlocked. Like some dormant version of you finally stood up inside your chest and said, "Yeah, this is who I actually am." And that version of you doesn't flinch when people get uncomfortable. That version of you doesn't shrink because someone else feels threatened by your honesty. That version of you doesn't apologize for having a backbone. And watching them scramble emotionally, trying to gather themselves after you spoke, you saw the insecurity slip out from under their fake confidence. You saw the real them, not the curated version, not the social mask, the raw, unprepared, exposed version that hopes nobody notices how fragile they actually are. You weren't supposed to be the one who went there. They assumed you'd stay quiet forever. They assumed you'd live your whole life softening your words for people who never softened their actions toward you. But life gets different the moment you stop negotiating your truth. Life gets different the moment you stop asking yourself, will this make them mad? And start asking, will staying quiet make me miserable? And that's the moment they realize something dangerous about you. You're not controlled by approval anymore. Their opinions don't chain you. Their reactions don't cage you. Their silence doesn't intimidate you. Their judgment doesn't define you. You became unpredictable to them the second you opened your mouth. Not in a chaotic way, in a real way. In a way that makes people sit up straighter around you. In a way that makes even the ones who talk the most become very, very careful. Because, once someone like you shows you're willing to speak, everyone else has to change how they move. They have to check the energy twice before they try you again. They have to rethink the way they handle you, because the old version they mistook for easy to manipulate doesn't exist anymore. And that silence after you spoke, oh, that silence was sacred. That silence was a confession. That silence was every ego in that room cracking just a little bit under the weight of reality. You felt their fear, their embarrassment, their shock, their irritation at being exposed without being yelled at. You felt the shift in the power dynamic, the way the room suddenly felt smaller because everyone realized you weren't afraid of the truth. And that energy is only getting stronger inside you, because once you taste what it feels like to finally use your voice, you don't go back to swallowing words that burn holes in your throat You don't go back to dimming yourself for people who can't handle the full brightness of who you actually are. You don't go back to being the version of yourself that made everyone else comfortable while draining the life out of you. You tapped into something real, something dangerous, something powerful, and everyone around you felt it. And it's kinda wild when you think about it, because, once that switch flips inside you, it's not just your voice that changes. It's your presence, the way you walk into a room, the way you sit, the way you breathe. People start watching you differently, like they're low-key waiting to see what you'll say next, because they realized you don't play by the unspoken rules anymore. You're not trapped in that keep the peace at your own expense mindset they depended on. And you could feel it? That slow ripple of anxiety crawling across their faces as they replay your words in their head, trying to figure out if you were talking about just one situation or if you've been clocking everything this whole time. That paranoia. That wasn't an accident. That was the truth doing what truth does, burning through every little lie, every little performance, every little moment they thought they got away with. The way they suddenly started acting nice. You saw that too. That awkward, shaky kindness that shows up when someone realizes you're no longer someone they can manipulate. They weren't being kind. They were being cautious. They weren't being respectful. They were being scared of what else you might call out. And you can always tell, right? You can always feel when someone's tone shifts because you changed, not because they grew. The ones who used to talk slick suddenly couldn't find anything clever to say. The ones who used to dominate conversations suddenly kept checking your reaction like they needed your approval to keep talking. The ones who thought you were soft suddenly started treating you like a loaded weapon. Because, when a person stops letting everyone walk over them, there's this quiet authority that forms in the room. A presence you can't fake. A kind of energy that makes insecure people shrink, even without you saying a word. And you didn't ask for that power. You just stopped giving it away. It's funny, because everyone thinks courage is loud, but the loudest people in that room said nothing back to you. Not a peep, not a twitch. They folded the moment they realized they couldn't twist your words or gaslight their way out of it. They just sat there hoping the tension would go away if nobody acknowledged it. But tension doesn't disappear when it's built on truth. It lingers, it sits with them, it follows them home. It crawls inside their thoughts at 3 a.m. when they're replaying every little thing you've ever noticed. And, you didn't just speak. You revealed capacity. The capacity to confront. The capacity to see. The capacity to cut through bullshit that everyone else tiptoes around. People don't get quiet because they're offended. People get quiet because they're exposed. They weren't shocked that you said it. They were shocked that you said it. The person they counted on to swallow their feelings, take the high road, and not make things uncomfortable. They built this whole version of you in their head, a version who'd never push back, never confront, never call them out. And then you shattered it with one line. And, that's the part that scared them. Not the content, but the evolution. Once someone evolves in a direction others didn't prepare for, everyone who used to feed off their silence starts losing their balance. You could literally see some of them recalibrating mentally, like, oh, we can't treat them like that anymore. They're not saying it out loud, but the energy gave it away. You probably felt it lingering afterward too, that weird mixture of empowerment and adrenaline, like your spirit finally inhaled after years of holding its breath. Your heart wasn't racing from fear. It was racing from finally standing in your own honesty without flinching. And even though the room was silent, something inside you felt louder, fuller, more grounded than ever. You changed the dynamic without giving a speech, without yelling, without clapping back. Just by telling the truth they prayed you'd choke on. And you watched the whole atmosphere tilt in your direction. Not because you demanded power, but because you stopped giving away the power you already had. And that's the thing they don't want to admit. They always knew you were capable of this. They just hoped you'd never realize it. But you did. And that realization, that's when everything in their body language shifted. That's when the fear started. That's when your presence got heavy enough to distort the entire room's energy. And you can feel that shift happening in more places now. Not just in that moment. Every conversation feels different. Every interaction feels realer. Every room you walk into feels like it has to adjust to you instead of the other way around. Because once you tap into that version of yourself, the unfiltered one, the honest one, the one who refuses to be emotionally bullied into silence, you become a different kind of presence entirely. A presence people respect. A presence people fear. A presence people watch carefully. And that energy inside you? It's still rising. It's still unfolding. It's still expanding into something they won't be able to ignore at all. And it's kinda crazy because, you can feel people studying you now in ways they never did before. Not out of admiration, out of caution. Like they're trying to figure out what version of you they're dealing with. Because the old version, the quiet one, the one who swallowed everything, isn't the one standing in front of them anymore. And that uncertainty, that's shaking them in places they don't talk about. You ever notice how the ones who used to talk the biggest suddenly get real small around you? How the ones who used to throw shade suddenly can't maintain eye contact? How the ones who used to crack jokes at your expense suddenly laugh a little too softly? Like they're scared the wrong joke might set off another truth bomb. They're not scared of you being mean. They're scared of you being accurate again. Scared you'll peel back another layer they've been taping together with denial and half-truths. Scared you'll point out something they've been hiding behind humor or confidence or that fake chill persona they use to cover the fact that their ego bruises like fruit. And you can feel their fear. You can feel the tension when you walk in. Like the atmosphere dips, and nobody knows where to put their hands or their eyes. That's what happens when someone realizes you're not the one they can dump their emotional garbage on anymore. You're not the sponge. You're not the soft landing. You're not the safe punching bag they depended on. You became the person who can actually see them, not the version they show the world, the real one. And people who've built their identity on performance don't know what to do when they're finally seen. And look at how they act in around you now. You'll catch them over-explaining, trying too hard, editing their stories in real time, making sure they don't contradict themselves, because they know you pay attention. You always paid attention. You just finally let it show. You didn't get scarier. They just realized you'd been smarter than them the whole time. And watching someone process that realization in real time, man, it's wild. All right, listen up. Yeah, I know you probably weren't expecting somebody like me to talk to you straight like this, but hey, today's different. Today, you're gonna hear what nobody else ever had the guts or the honesty to tell you. So don't blink, Don't overthink. Don't flinch. Just take it in. Because people out there keep whispering that he's a beast, right? A monster, a problem, a whole damn situation wrapped in flesh. They act like he's untouchable, like he walks through the world with no fear, like nothing can shake him, nothing can scar him, nothing can get inside that thick skull and rattle it. But you are the one thing that could break his ass for real. And the crazy part? You don't even realize the power you carry. You're sitting here telling yourself you're just trying, just living, just doing your best. While someone out there, someone everyone else fears, literally loses his mind at the idea that you might give up on him. See, you don't understand something fundamental about yourself. You move differently, you talk differently, you hit differently. And I'm not talking about physical punches. Relax. I'm talking about the way your presence rearranges people's insides. The way your existence makes certain people confront parts of themselves they've been running from for years. He's out there being a savage, a menace, a whole force of nature. But the second your name crosses his mind, boom, everything he built starts shaking. Because here's the truth you keep forgetting. You're not soft, you're not weak, you're not too nice or too emotional or too forgiving. Nah, you're the type of person whose absence hits harder than any punch, whose silence burns deeper than any scar, whose disappointment can take a man built like a monster and drop him to his knees without even touching him. Think about that for a second. The world fears him, but he fears losing you. Let that sink into your bones. Let it settle in the places inside you that people tried to convince you were empty. You know what people don't tell you? Power isn't always loud. It's not always violent. It's not always wrapped in big actions or dramatic moments. Real power, the kind that bends people's pride and ego, the kind that makes someone who's been untouchable suddenly feel exposed. That kind of power sits quietly inside you. It lingers in your loyalty. It hides in your consistency. It glows in your heart even when you feel like it's dimming. People like you, the ones who love deeply, fight silently, and move with real intention. You're the ones monsters fear. Not because you could destroy them physically, but because you could destroy them emotionally. You could make them feel something real in a world full of fakes, and that terrifies them more than bullets, more than enemies, more than failure. And you keep downplaying your power like it's nothing. You keep trying to shrink yourself, fit in, stay low maintenance, stay quiet, stay unproblematic. Meanwhile, the strongest people you'll ever meet are losing sleep over the thought of you not wanting them anymore. You don't realize what your presence does to people who have never felt seen before. You don't realize what your absence does to people who finally felt something real. You think he's a beast because of how he acts out there. Nah. He becomes a beast because he knows what losing you would do to him. Because you bring him a clarity the world stripped away. Because you remind him of the version of himself he thought died a long time ago. Because around you, he doesn't get to pretend. He doesn't get to hide. He doesn't get to posture like he's unstoppable. You stop him. You disarm him. You unmask him. And when someone like you has that effect on someone like him, that's when the whole world starts paying attention. Because beasts don't break easily. They don't fall apart for just anyone. They don't panic because of just any face. They don't shake because of just any goodbye. But you could ruin him. You could collapse his whole world with one decision. One moment of silence, one shift in your energy, one "I'm done." And he knows it. That's why he's careful with you in ways he isn't with anyone else. That's why he hesitates before saying something reckless to you. That's why he cares about how you see him more than how the whole damn world sees him. You ever wonder why someone so fearless becomes so vulnerable around you? Why someone so untouchable suddenly looks touchable only in your presence? Why someone who doesn't bow to pressure suddenly folds when you're disappointed? It's because you're not just another person in his life. You're the emotional kryptonite he can't outsmart. You're the one battle he can't win with aggression. You're the one force he can't dominate or control. You're the one truth he can't outrun. And, here's the punchline nobody ever tells you. Being the one thing that could break him doesn't make you dangerous. It makes you precious, rare, irreplaceable. The kind of person life only hands out once. People like you don't come around twice. And beasts like him, they know that. They feel that. That's why he's terrified of losing you. Because deep down, he knows he'd survive everything except the day you stop believing in him. So stop acting like you're powerless. Stop acting like you're disposable. Stop acting like anyone could replace you. They can't. And he knows that better than anyone, even if he'd never admit it out loud. You're the reason his armor cracks. You're the reason his ego softens. You're the reason his soul wakes up. You're the reason the beast becomes human again. You're the one thing that could break his ass for real. And the one thing he'd do anything to never lose again. Because the truth is, you don't even see what you do to people. You walk around thinking you're just trying to hold it together, just trying to stay loyal, just trying to not fall apart again. And meanwhile, this man, this so-called beast, gets hit with a whole emotional earthquake every time you breathe in his direction. And it's wild, right? Everyone else is out here scared of him, flinching when he walks by, acting like he's some walking warning sign. But you're the only one who makes him feel like he's standing on unstable ground. You're the only one who makes him rethink his tone, his choices, his whole damn personality. He'll never admit it, but you can literally see it in his eyes when he looks at you. There's this tiny flicker like, "Please don't disappear on me." That kind of power. You don't stumble into it. You are it. It's embedded in your energy, in your presence, in the way you listen without judging, the way you care without broadcasting it, the way you show up even when you're tired. People like him. They're not built to receive love that pure. It exposes every weak point they've been hiding behind all that toughness and bravado. You ever notice how he gets quiet around you? How his voice drops, how his shoulders loosen, how his whole tough guy shtick melts the second you say his name, with that tone. That's not softness, that's surrender, and he only does that with you, even if he pretends it's nothing. He's terrified you'll realize the extent of your pull. He's terrified you'll look at him one day and think, yeah, I don't want this anymore. Because he knows damn well that your detachment would hit harder than any bullet life could throw at him. He can fight enemies. He can survive chaos. He can outsmart danger. He can handle pressure. But he can't handle the idea of you choosing not to care. That's the one battlefield where he loses every time, and he knows it. And you've been sitting here underestimating yourself like you don't change the whole emotional climate of the people who get close to you. You think you're too much, or hard to love, or complicated. But what you really are is impactful. You're the type of person who doesn't just touch someone's life. You rearrange it. You make people confront themselves, evolve, grow. And that scares the hell out of them, Because growth hurts. Especially for someone who built their whole identity around being unshakable. And it's crazy how you think you're the fragile one. You think you're the one who's easy to break, easy to manipulate, easy to overlook. Meanwhile, the strongest person in the room folds emotionally every time they feel you pulling away even a little bit. That's not fragility, that's influence, that's emotional gravity. That's power they can't replicate, can't replace, can't forget, even if life drags them across concrete. You're the one thing he can't control. He can intimidate the world, but he can't intimidate you. He can scare the hell out of people, but he can't scare you into staying. He can dominate every room he walks into, but he can't dominate how you feel about him. You stand there, unintentionally holding the one card he can't play himself. The card that decides whether he keeps the part of himself he only ever shows you, or whether he loses it forever. And you wonder why he watches you so closely, why he listens to your words even when he pretends he's tuning you out, why he circles back after arguments, why he cares what you think even when he's acting like he doesn't. It's because you're not like the world he fights every day. You're the part of him he never thought he deserved, but somehow ended up needing more than anything. You're the reminder that he's still human under all that armor, and that scares him more than anything he's ever faced out there. This is why he acts different with you. This is why he calms down when you speak. This is why he tries, even when he swears he's done trying. This is why he stays, even when he's convinced he's better off alone. Because what he feels around you isn't weakness, it's exposure. And exposure is dangerous for someone who built his life on never letting anyone get close enough to see the cracks. You're the only one who sees the cracks. You're the only one he'll let see them. You're the only one who can widen them or heal them. You're the only one whose choices rearrange his entire emotional structure. You're the only one who could break him without lifting a finger. With just one shift in your energy, one withdrawal of affection, one change in the way you look at him. And he knows it every time he looks at you, every time he waits for your reaction, at every time he catches himself caring too much, every time he feels that panic in his chest when you go quiet, every time he realizes you're the only person who hits the part of him he swore nobody would ever reach. And, it hits him in ways he'll never admit out loud. Because admitting it would mean confessing that you're the only person alive who could actually hurt him. Not physically, emotionally, spiritually, internally. Right in that place he's boarded up, welded shut, and buried under 10 layers of attitude and trauma. And you don't even try. That's the wildest part about all of this. You're not manipulating anything. You're not playing games. You're not out here weaponizing your presence. You're just being you. You show up with that calm energy, that quiet look, that I'm here but I'm not gonna force myself into your chaos vibe. And suddenly this man who scares everybody else is stumbling emotionally like he forgot how to stand upright. He'll walk through fire for things that don't matter, but he'll walk on eggshells for you because you matter. And he doesn't know how to act around someone whose opinion could collapse him from the inside out. You ever catch the way he double-checks your expression when he says something harsh? He can curse out the world without blinking. He can talk reckless to anybody, but the second he thinks he hurt you, his whole demeanor switches. His voice drops. His ego shrinks. His eyes soften. He tries to pretend he doesn't care, but his body language betrays him every single time. Because losing your respect? Yeah, that's the kind of hit he wouldn't recover from. He'd rather take a punch to the face than feel you disconnect emotionally. He'd rather be betrayed by 10 people than see disappointment in your eyes once. He'd rather fight 1,000 battles than fight the feeling of you drifting. And he's never had that before. People fear him, people obey him, people follow him. But you don't fear him, you don't obey him, you don't shrink for him, you don't fall apart just because he raises his voice. You stand there with that, okay, but why are you talking to me like that? Look, and that alone destabilizes him more than any enemy ever has, because he doesn't know what to do with someone who sees through the armor he's been hiding behind his whole life. You're the one person who makes the mask useless. You're the one person who talks to the human underneath the beast, the human. He doesn't trust anyone else to see the human. He probably doesn't even trust himself to be. And it's not even about romance or drama or whatever storyline people try to project. It's deeper. It's that soul-level recognition that freaks him out. It's that emotional clarity you bring without trying. It's that sense of being understood without liking the feeling of being understood, because, understanding makes him vulnerable, and vulnerability makes him feel exposed. He'll go toe-to-toe with demons he created. He'll confront ghosts from his past. He'll bite back at critics and enemies. But he won't know how to respond to you saying, "That hurt me," in a soft voice. Because that's the kind of pain he can't armor up against. That's the kind of pain he can't fight with fists or rage. That's the kind of pain that forces him to look inward. And inward is where all the stuff he's been avoiding actually lives. And he hates that you can take him there. Not out of resentment, out of fear. Fear of being seen, fear of being known, fear of being held accountable emotionally by someone he actually cares about. You think he doesn't care? He cares in ways that keep him up at night, replaying conversations you forgot about hours ago. He cares in ways that mess with his appetite, his patience, his mood. He cares in ways that make him check the phone twice, then pretend he doesn't care about the notification he's hoping is yours. He cares in ways that make him reevaluate his whole personality when you fall silent for too long. And, if you ever pulled away for real. Not the "I'm tired" version, not the "I need a break" version, but the real detachment, the real shutting down, the real, "You don't get that part of me anymore." Yeah. That would wreck him. Not because he's weak, but because you are the only person who touches that hidden emotional wiring he swore nobody would ever access. You're not just the one thing that could break him, you're the only thing that makes him feel alive enough to even fear being broken in the first place. And every time he looks at you, he feels that truth tightening around his ribcage in a way he can't control, and it terrifies him in a way the world never could. And, it's wild because you don't even realize half the time when you hit him in those places he hides from the whole world. You'll just say something casually. Nothing crazy, nothing deep, just honest. And it's like you accidentally opened a door inside him he's been barricading for years. He'll act normal on the outside, nod his head, maybe give that little half smirk he uses to hide how much something actually affected him. But inside he's spiraling, replaying your words, dissecting them, trying to figure out why his chest suddenly feels too tight. And it's not because he's soft. He's not soft with the world. He's soft with you in ways he can't control. That's the part he can't stand admitting, even to himself. This whole beast persona, that's survival mode, that's trauma armor. That's him doing whatever he had to do to not get eaten alive by life. But when it comes to you, none of that armor stays on. It falls off without you even touching it. And that level of emotional nakedness? Yeah, That's the kind of thing that makes someone like him feel unsteady, off balance, human, in a way nobody ever prepared him for. He'll hear your voice and suddenly the rage he had a second ago dissolves. He'll see your name pop up and his entire body does that little shift. Like he's bracing for impact, but wanting it at the same time. He'll argue with you and pretend he's fine afterward, but that argument will sit in his stomach for days because he can handle conflict with anybody except you. Your disappointment hits him where fear used to live. And it's almost funny how he tries to hide it. He'll act like he's busy or cold or detached, thinking you won't notice. But the moment he senses you're actually pulling away, everything changes. His voice changes. His approach changes. His energy shifts, like he's internally grabbing onto something before it slips through his fingers. You have to understand, he's not scared of rejection in general. He's been rejected before. He's been betrayed, abandoned, underestimated, all of it. He's numb to most of that by now. But losing you? That's different. That hits a part of him he doesn't have defenses for. You're the only thing he can't prepare for emotionally, because you're the only person he never built a shield against. And it's because you walked into his life without trying to change him, without trying to compete with him, without trying to dominate him, without shrinking or being intimidated, and without feeding the ego he uses to protect himself. You talked to him like a human when everyone else treated him like a threat. You showed him softness without weakness. You offered understanding without excuses. You gave him patience without letting him walk all over you. You cared without begging. You listened without judging. You held him accountable without humiliating him. Nobody ever did all that at once. Nobody even came close. And, that's why you got under his skin the way you did. That's why you stayed there. That's why your absence would destroy parts of him he's not ready to face. Because you don't just matter to him. You stabilize parts of him he didn't know were wobbling. You calm storms he pretended didn't exist. You reach emotions he swore were dead. You trigger insecurities he buried so deep he forgot where he put them. You pull out humanity he thought he lost. He hates that. He loves that. He's terrified of that. He needs that. And the craziest part is, he knows you could break him on accident. Just by changing your tone. Just by going quiet. Just by pulling back. Just by caring a little less than you did yesterday. Just by choosing yourself in a moment where he expected you to choose him. You don't have to yell. You don't have to threaten. You don't have to leave. You don't have to slam doors. Your emotional distance alone could shatter him in places nothing else ever reached. Because you're not his weakness. You're his mirror. And he's terrified of what he sees in it. And even more terrified of losing the one reflection that makes him feel like there's still something worth fixing inside him. And, it's the way you look at him that really gets under his skin, even when you don't realize you're doing anything at all. You give him that steady, evaluating look, nothing judgmental, nothing dramatic, just that quiet, I see you energy. And it hits him in a place he didn't even know was reachable. Everybody else looks at him with fear, or admiration, or hate, or envy. You're the only one who looks at him like he's a person, not a threat, or a headline, or some unbreakable creature made of steel.